to the entertaining Talkin' Sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. The New York Giants have signed yet another piece in free agency. I'm not sure the contract specifics. Those have not come out yet, but they'll be bringing in a defensive tackle formerly of the Tennessee Titans who will be only 26 next year with Austin Johnson. And I know a lot of people are going to be up in arms about this. They're going to say, how do you bring in another defensive tackle? That's already a huge strength of ours. First thing I'll say is we don't have any money left. At this point, this is a guy that's going to come off the bench and try to compete to make the 53-man roster. We're not going to bring in any more impact players at this point in time. The Giants have brought in a ton. I would suspect that this would be a 1-year, if not 2-year contract where they could get out after one for bringing in Johnson. Johnson, with the Titans, played sparingly. There is a connection on this roster. Now, one thing I will say, if this guy does play well, or if they think they could get a lot out of him, Dalvin Tomlinson could be on the trade market. Somebody I've talked about before. Do I want to trade Dalvin Tomlinson? No, he was my favorite player in last year's defense. But being that Leonard Williams is back, if they plan on Leonard Williams being in the long-term plans, which maybe they don't, they did only franchise tag him. We're going to have to wait and see what the contract specifics. I have said that Dalvin Tomlinson could be a potential trade asset to try to get a draft pick in this year's draft, being that we have so much talent at that position to begin with, and this, if he's good, would only add to it. Now, of course, like you know, there's always a connection to all these signings that the New York Giants have brought in. There was a connection with every single player that we've brought in on the coaching staff outside of James Bradbury, who had a connection to Dave Gettleman. This is no different. Austin Johnson played defensive tackle for the New York Giants defensive line coach, Sean Spence. Sean Spence, of course, was known as one of the better defensive line coaches in the country at Penn State, and Coach Chaos, Coach Johnson. So I'm sure that he had some influence on this. So yet again, a lot of people are going to say this is all Dave Gettleman, the Hog Mollies. I don't think so. I think this is a collaborative effort. I think the coaches picked out players that they think that they could bring in, implement in their systems, and get the most out of them. Do I think this guy's going to have a huge impact on the team next year? No, he probably will not see much time when you look at the talent on our roster at that position already to begin with. With Dexter Lawrence, Dalvin Tomlinson, B.J. Hill, R.J. McIntosh, and of course Leonard Williams. You already have 5 players there, but it makes you question, maybe they will look to trade somebody on this roster at that position. If it's not Dalvin Tomlinson, maybe B.J. Hill, maybe somebody else. It's something to think about as we try to acquire more draft assets. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's certainly something that was possible before this, and it's certainly possible after it, if they think Johnson is in the team's long-term plans. Like I said, he's still young. But let's get into the quote regarding the signing from NFL Update. Giants are signing Titans second-round defensive tackle Austin Johnson, per D. Dugan 21, has mostly been used as a role player during his 4 years in the NFL. And he's a nose tackle. I think he's about 6'4", just over 310 pounds, the same position that Tomlinson plays. He's predominantly a nose tackle. He got 9 starts last year for the Titans, where he played the nose tackle. He did play a little bit of D-end, as you see there, in 2017. He's had a career of 13 starts, but 9 of them came in 2018, where he didn't really do much. You know, he's only got 2.5 career sacks. He had 1 sack that year, 83 combined tackles. Maybe he's a run stuffer. I haven't gotten a chance to look at the tape. But to me, this is a guy that they're just bringing in to complete the roster. Not a guy that's going to have a big effect in terms of the starting lineup. But maybe by bringing this guy in, they will look at other players at that position as being expendable. He is young. Maybe they think they could get a lot out of him, similar to what they did with Dalvin Tomlinson last year, and be paying him pennies on the dollar. Tomlinson, of course, will be hitting free agency after this season, if the Giants, I think, do not extend him on his rookie contract. So that could be an effect here, and maybe the Giants are thinking that way, or maybe they just view this guy as somebody that could compete in training camp and maybe beat out a guy like R.J. McIntosh. Of course, Gettleman drafted McIntosh. He probably thinks fairly highly of him, and McIntosh has played fairly well when given an opportunity for the New York Giants. But this isn't a signing I'm going to be excited about or upset about either way. It's not a big deal. We don't have a lot of money left, and it's a depth signing. You know, it's nothing crazy here. They do bring in Austin Johnson, and the only question that I think about here is, will it have an effect in terms of trading one of the players on our roster at that position to try to get a better draft pick? And, of course, the one thing I wanted to highlight was the connection with Coach Chaos at Penn State. As always, guys, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.